Hi there, welcome to another edition of the Torino Diaries on FM 17. Yes, one game left. If we beat Fiorentina, we take the title. If Juve beat Napoli and we lose, we finish second. Either way, I'm ecstatic because we make it to the Champions League. It's been a great season. In terms of goals, well, Andrea Bellotti hasn't been firing on all cylinders. He's only bagged 19 goals so far this season. Please excuse my voice. I am struggling with a cold. I am not feeling well, and I'm doing my best to do the show and get it done because I do want to get the next season rolling and build up my team for the following season. As some of you probably are aware, my board hasn't been very, very helpful. They have basically told me I can't get more coaches, I can't get more this, I can't get more that, and this just pissed me off. We had a terrible December. We couldn't string together consecutive wins. Valde Fiore was injured. I started doing things. I started messing around with a 4-2-3-1 as well because you guys asked me for a 4-2-3-1. So I decided to put it on the tactics, on one of my tactics. Naturally, that was a bad move. I don't like the 4-2-3-1. Then we got back to winning ways. Quite a solid run as well. We beat Pescara Calcio 5-1. Sassuolo, we nicked it 2-1 in the end. We dropped points against Inter Milan and we didn't beat Juve. It was quite a match 3-3. And then we won the next two matches. Cagliari 2-1, Bologna 3-1. Now the big match against Fiorentina. Tactics, we've been using the 4-3-1-2. I have made some changes to the 4-3-1-2. Next season, most likely, I will be playing the 4-3-1-2. But of course, the 4-2-3-1 seems to be a really popular tactic among a lot of FMers, and I almost feel obligated to play it, although I don't really like the 4-2-3-1 very much. Why? Well, let's just put it this way. If I want to play a 4-2-3-1, then these guys have to drop back to defend. That means I have to do a lot of PI work. And sometimes I feel that it's better to play three in the middle than to play two. And I don't have the players for it. So unless I get really good players, only then will I be looking at a 4-2-3-1. But then you never know. I might just mess about with one. I do like this system, this 4-3-3. It's defensively a rugged system. And it's got a static defense, which means that teams need to work their way around to get to the back. And it is quite a hard system to break down. If you have really good players up front, then you can actually get something akin to how Barcelona is playing in today's game. This is probably a replicate. I replicated Barcelona as far as I could. Naturally, we would play it slightly differently. I've also managed to create some replications of Chelsea's Antonio Conte system as well. However, once again, caveats, they don't play exactly the same way. They play close to the same. They play close to what the original. However, again, anytime I do a replication, I need to get the right players. And honestly, if I can't get the right players, then I'm not one to go and say, hey, this is as close to the tactic as it can get. So I played as far as FM can take me. So now let's get ready for the big match against Fiorentina. We have Lorenzo Di Silvestri, our starting fullback, who has been suspended for the last game of the season. Vladimir Volkov, the fullback on the left, he's also injured. Marco Benazzi, he was not available for the match, the last few matches, because he was suspended. So we have to we got to put the team together right now for this big match. So we're going to play slightly differently because notice Danilo Avila has been picking up a few cards. So I'm going to push Benazzi to the left because he's pretty solid with tackling. Baselli not so much, but he still can play from a deeper position. Avila, Rossettini, Wallace, Molinaro, these will be the defenders. At the back, this is my strike force up front. Molinaro, yeah, he's not a fullback on the right. He's actually a fullback for the left side of the pitch. But honestly, I can't really play. I don't want to play Capuano at all costs because he makes way too many mistakes at the back. And Bolzano, well, he's too young to play such a big match. I think what I'm going to do is to make a slight change as well. To give more security to the left side of the pitch, we're going to play him as a ball-winning midfielder on support. Because of I have a wing back attacking here, so a bit more security there. Alright, so for this group of players, we're gonna show wrong foot. And then for the DM, I'm gonna close him down. And for the goalkeeper as well, I'm gonna close him down. Team talk. Assertive. Come on, let's show me. I never ever change what I say during a team talk. So here we go. I want to see how Juve play as well. Juve are playing Napoli in today's other match. So if we win, the title is definitely ours. If we draw, then we gotta hope that Juve and Napoli don't generate a positive result for Juventus. Valdifiori out wide to Danilo Avila. Avila's cross early. Belotti was so close to giving us the opening lead inside the first 20 seconds. And the highlights are ours at the start. That's good news. Valdifiori with a corner. They clear the danger again. That's another corner kick. It's good pressure at the start. Valdifiori puts the ball up in the air. And we get a chance to recycle. Unfortunately, the highlights end over there. Danilo Avila with the throw inside the first quarter. Dionisi crosses the ball, goes for it's just over the net. Napoli have taken the lead against Juve, so that means I don't have to take any risks so far in this game. That's good news. Molinaro to Belotti, Belotti back to Valdifiori. Valdifiori plays it to Benassi. Dionisi to Belotti. Belotti's inside the box. He's brought down. We have a penalty. Okay. Let's go, Yubute. Yes, please excuse my call. My voice is, my nose is totally blocked. Belotti with the penalty. 34 minutes in. Takes it, shoots, scores. Napoli have the lead against Juventus, and Torino have the lead away at Fiorentina. Okay, so do I change my posture at this point in time? Should I go more defensive? No, I don't want to, because then I'll just ask them to come attacking me. But I can definitely do one thing: reduce the risk on my fullbacks. So I'll turn this guy into a fullback on attack only, so he doesn't have to go that far. Benazzi is playing as a ball-winning midfielder on support to support Avila's runs down the flank. Sanchez to Tello. Tello works inside. Molinaro. What a challenge. We have the throw. Danilo Avila will play to Benazzi. Benazzi to Pucciarelli. Pucciarelli, Belotti. Belotti scores a second, but I think it's offside. It should be offside. Unless it's a brilliant, FMer. He FM'd the back line. I suspect he did. Okay, at this point, Benazzi to Pucci. Yeah, he should be offside. That should have been offside. Well, I'll take it. I cannot take a bit more risks. So I'll just put him back on a wing back on attack. Because I noticed that Danilo Avila was picking up yellow cards in the last game. So that was probably down to the fact that he was bombing down the flanks and he had to come back to defend. So this time around, I just changed the supporting midfielder screen to a ball-winning midfielder support. The difference would be the hard tackling and the deeper starting position. Dionisi back here to Pucci to Valdifiori. Valdifiori. He couldn't make it 3. Zarate to Cristofori. Sanchez now with the ball. Plays it out to Zarate. But he's doing pretty well. Coming in. But the defenders do very well. Dionisi now with the ball. Finds Belotti. Belotti will charge at the defense. And takes a shot from range. Where it's going over the top. Juventus have now taken the lead. It's now 2-1 against Napoli. Tomovic with the throw. Babacar is near the box. The boys can't clear it. They can. With 9 minutes left on the clock, Sanchez to... What's that guy's name? Okay, I call him Cherny. Okay, no. Ricochet off one player, then another player. Wallace tries to clear the danger. And Zarate with a goal. What a block from Molinaro. Brilliant goal line block. That was phenomenal. The keeper was beaten. Danilo Avila with the throw. Dionisi, there's not much more time left on the clock. Benazzi heads it back into the box. Belotti gets a hat-trick. It's 3-0. There is nothing that Fiorentina can now do. Torino are going to win the title. This is better than FM16. In FM16, I didn't win the title until the second season. But we're going to win the title in our debut season. Or rather, my debut season. This has been a great, great game. Tomovic, again, gets into the box. But Babacar scores what should be a consolation goal. No, he doesn't. It's offside. And yes, it won't count. The whistle has gone. Torino are the champions of the Serie A. Well, what a run this team has done. At the start of the season, I wasn't very happy with the number of players on loan. So we went and brought in some defenders. We got in 2 defenders. Murray Wallace, we got in three defenders. And one of them never got a chance to play. I mean, he did get like 15 games, Marco Capuano, but he made so many mistakes. In the end, I just decided I can't play him. You know, this one of his characteristics is dwells on ball. This dwelling on the ball cost us a lot of matches. So yeah, I don't have time to retrain his attributes, so I'm going to sell him. One of the players that stood out for me was Federico Dionisi. I purchased this player because we don't have another striker, and he came in, and what a return he did for us. 11 goals from 17 appearances. Not bad, a return with 2 assists. Naturally, the top player was Andre Belotti, scoring 25 goals from 34. But he's wanted by a lot of clubs and he wants out. So it's going to be quite a challenge for me to keep him. While the standout performers, of course, is Merkel Valdifiori. I really needed him as one of my linchpin players in my 4-3-1-2. Other players who turned in a very good season, Luca Rossettini, who's at 32 years old. I don't think I can keep him for very long. He's a central defender. He's much better than what I have at the moment, but you can see that our defenders aren't very good. Murray Wallace, top player, joined Torino, valued out at 4 billion. He'll probably keep his place next season, but I still need to find more central defenders. This team is not good enough to compete with the best in Europe. But we luckily won the title. I wouldn't say that we were like clear-cut winners. We had 9 draws, 2 losses. Not a bad return. However, Juventus didn't play very well this season. They had 5 losses and 5 draws, which did make our job a lot easier in this area. We'll have to strengthen, and they will really strengthen, and we hope that we can do a better job. In terms of financial positions this season, okay, not too bad. Financially, we're doing okay. But my board haven't been my best friends. They've been a pain in the ass. They don't want to give me more coaches. So I'm gonna go to the board again when the season is about to start, demanding that I get more coaches so I can do more specialization for training. And I'm gonna start looking at getting some more players into the team because I want to build on this 4-3-1-2 as well as this 4-3-3 system. So the 2 systems, of course, you know, you guys love the 4-2-3-1, so I'll try and build a 4-2-3-1 as well. When I look at the whole season and I look at my tactics, the 4-3-1-2 performed quite well. We used the 4-3-1-2 in 21 matches and it did pretty well, scoring 33 goals, conceding on 22, which is probably our best performing tactic. I did my 4-2-3-1 narrow. Well, it wasn't such a hot tactic, you know, just average. I also had a 4-3-3 narrow. I used it twice. Now I created this 4-3-3, which was also a good system. I mean, this is defensively a lot more rugged. And also had a 4-3-3 wide, a 4-1-4-1. I tried it out, and we played pretty well against some of these other systems. Most of the teams in this area have come at me with this 4-1-2-3, which is essentially this tactic. Most of them have played this system against me. A few teams have played the 4-3-1-2 narrow, as well as the 5-4-1, the 3-4-3 DM wide systems. But overall, we played pretty well against these systems. I just have to do better next season. Joe Hart, well, I don't think I'm going to extend his loan. He can go back to England. I'm a Padelli fan. I will keep using Daniel Padelli. Joe Hart, well, he is pretty good for a Lodi. Valued at 21 million. So he walked in and it was like the club wanted him to be the captain. So I want to focus on Italian players and I want to try and break through a few more of them into the first team. That's nothing against Joe Hart, but it's the long term thing, to do because you want to have more Italian players and more EU players for the future, so it makes things easier. So I don't want to grab English players where I can. I don't want to. I want to get all these non-EU players because now they have a non-EU player slot. So I want to remove, get as many of them out of the club as possible. So one thing I have to do is I have to use the notebook inside the game. So I'll set my training here now, and hopefully the reminders go out for me, and it will kick in a reminder for me. It will set the reminder date, and that's the day I have to change my training. And this have to be done every time in the game so that I don't screw things up. And I definitely need to do that considering the fact that my terrain is so unbalanced. If I were in most cases, I would just leave it on balance because that works really well for training. Training, remember, your team when it comes to training, right? They will be trained in the position. All right. So if you then like Christian Molinaro, his playing position is a fullback. He's gonna train in that position. You can, influence his attributes to some extent by getting him to train in other areas. Like in this particular case, I could if I wanted a certain attribute distribution, then I'll get him to train. The training position will be a wing back. Naturally, the play in that position. You can give him additional focus too. Like say, if I were to give him additional focus, a headache, his workload might go up. But in this particular case, I don't need to change his workload. For some of the players, if I were to look at their first touch is pretty low. For those players who have a really low first touch, I generally like to give them first touch training as well, so they start focusing on first touch. This is what I'm going to do for my team moving forward. We will start focusing a lot more on their training so that we get them to a standard where I can actually safely say, hey, I've got a very good team. Well, I've tried to share with you some of the insights of what I do after the last game of the season. We've worked out our training. We know we have to fix certain stuff about it. I definitely know that going forward, I need better players. Tactically, well, we kind of sussed out what we're good at and what we're not. And we will try and be more versatile going in the future. Maybe I need to do the 4-2-3-1 and then get a few better players in. But to do that, literally my entire backline has to change. Whether I can do that or not depends on the board, whether they're going to give me the money to go out and buy players and whether they're going to give me the money to invest in coaches, which I really definitely need to do going forward. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the show. If you have any questions, please drop me a note on this channel, or you can look me up at addicted2fm.com, or you can find me on Twitter at BusterNet. I do hope to help you with any questions that you might have, and I hope this show proves useful in helping you play the game of Football Manager, and you get to enjoy it the way I do, which is the way I play. If you have any questions, please drop me a question. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. For now, though, you have a good one. I'll walk away nursing my cold, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. You take care. Bye-bye.